Very much for coming to our program.
Thank you, Colin.
Firstly, what is your response to the report?
Well, my response to the report, I was shocked, but specifically when it relates to me, because I was welcoming the report from the beginning. When this matter came up, I said, I'll wait for the report. I'll stand by my side to say, I do not know anything in the looting. I don't work for VBS. But at least what I could say from the report, what the report has confirmed, one, that yes, I was not an employee of VBS when the looting was taking place. I was long gone. And two, the report also confirmed, if you look at item number 6059, which deals with the finding with relating to me. His finding, he said, Madzonga denied vehemently that he was involved in the fraud. And he said, I, meaning him as the advocate Mtao, cannot also make a definitive finding of the role what Madzonga could have done in the whole looting. So which for me, it means that already is clearing me. But
remember, towards the beginning of the year, Advocate Anush Rupal also mentioned in court that you were one of the masterminds behind the looting.
Actually, I'm so shocked because when you're a mastermind, you are a person who put together the plans, the tactics, the design.
Didn't you do that?
And now when you do that, Mtao should have found out what I've done. Now for him to say, I could not find anything which he had played any role in the whole looting or in the whole saga, meaning that I cannot be a mastermind who he cannot find. He should have been able to. He has interviewed more than 100 people.
When did you find out about corruption at VBS?
Well, just like everybody else, when the whole thing, firstly, in March, when the bank was having a liquidity crisis, which was said that it was due to the municipality. That's why I took my whole money, all my own money. I'm the only one of all the people that be alleged who took his own money from my personal account to put into the bank to assist the bank with the liquidity crisis.
But the report says that you received over 30 million rand.
You see, when you look at that report, which is 238.8, he says article Madzonga received 30,372,000. Then you go in point 60, he said Madzonga received 39 million. Now, the same report which was done by a senior counsel is contradicting. Which one is the right one? Have I received 39? Have I received 30?
How much did you receive?
I have not received anything. The 30 million he's talking about, that is the money which VBS has spent for financing. Out of that 30 million, 8 million is the bond loan I took. Now, that is not looting. That bond loan, they gave me the bond. I've got a bond. 6 million is a vehicle finance. That is not looting. That is covered by the assets. Now, the other remaining amount is the salary not from VBS, from Vele. Now, if I receive a salary from Vele, and if Vele has done something wrong with VBS, it cannot be
when you were receiving those loans, were you cautious of the liquidity status of the bank?
Look, Colin, everybody we were encouraging. I was one of the people as the COO of Vele to encourage all the subsidiaries and other people, black people in particular, and black professionals to bank with the bank, with VBS, because the bank makes money from loaning. So when I'm loaning, when I take a bond, is to support the bank. Otherwise, the bank will not make money. The role of the bank is to make money. So there was no liquidity issue.
But it's reported that the bank was soliciting deposits from individual and institutional bankers, and some of the deposits were fictitious.
You see, that is what they said what was happening within the bank, within VBS. Now, I've been on record to say it is very difficult for me to comment what is happening at VBS when I don't work for VBS. It's like you taking me to comment about fictitious deposit or fictitious thing happening within SABC, and I don't have any relationship. I'm not a board member of VBS. I am not an employee of VBS. VBS had board members, had Reserve Bank. So if Reserve Bank, which has got a mandate to look into the affairs of the bank, could not find that, me, who's a normal person outside the bank with no responsibility, how would I know?
During your tenure, were you aware that there were some municipalities which were banking with VBS and they were not supposed to?
No. All we know that the municipality, remember what we know is that the municipalities were banking with VBS. And what we know that it was legal.
But
Now,
statutorily, you know that Reserve Bank governor said that municipalities were not supposed to bank because it was a mutual bank, not a commercial bank.
If I remember very well in the discussion of the Reserve Bank in the Parliament Portfolio Committee, when they were asked, they said they were not, because this question was also asked earlier by the DA, they were not aware and they did not do a definitive answer. It's only the Treasury which has written the letter. Now, up to now, there is still this issue hasn't gone to court to say whether which opinion is right to say mutual banks are not supposed to take deposit from. What we know, what I know, which I did my own research as a lawyer, is that mutual banks are not supposed to take primary deposit to bank from the municipality to give you your salary as an employee of the municipality.
But municipalities were banking with VBS. Were they able to recuperate?
That is not salary. That's why I'm saying to you, Colin, there's a difference between primary banking and secondary.
But then the
primary is when you receive salary.
But look, you can tell me about the difference now. Damage has been done. Let's take a look at this display of the graphic right now. Look at the damage that has been done to municipalities, the amount that has gone to VBS, and though slide number 1, which is supposed to pay. But look at point number 18.1. As of the 30th of April 2018, the amount that was taken from VBS, my apologies, the insert that came before this one, let's wait for it. I just want to show you the extent of the damage that has been done to municipalities.
I'm not denying that because I don't work for the bank. So I don't work for the bank. I can't comment for the affairs of the bank because I don't work for the bank. And look, I don't do, even in the report, there is not a single mention of me of attending a meeting or municipality or anybody. I don't know work for the bank. So I cannot comment about what the employees, that question you must pose it to Reserve Bank. They are the one who mandate the affairs of the bank.
But there was a time when the bank was under your watch and you were responsible for the operations.
No. I was there for only 2 months to 3 months. And the bank, the Reserve Bank themselves, they declined my appointment. So when the Reserve Bank themselves declined my appointment, they said I was not suitable to be the COO. Now they brought in a person who was suitable to be a COO. Why is that person who is a COO who was brought by the Reserve Bank not being dragged in here by the report to say, you were the COO of the bank, they were looting in the bank, what did you do?
Are you saying that there hasn't been any kind of wrongdoing during your tenure? Because here we have evidence by Poppy Makobodwane, who was quoted in an affidavit that bribe money was transported via a helicopter bought by VBS. Tell us these two scenarios. Why does bribe money have to be transported with a helicopter, and why does VBS need a helicopter in the first place?
Again, Colin, you are referring the question to the wrong person. Now, Poppy is the one who is the head of the Treasury, who was responsible for the finance. Now, I was not at the VBS. This thing happened in 2017. I was in the VBS for 3 months in 2016. Now, 2017, I was not there, and I've never seen the helicopter with taking the money there, and I was not in the... If the Reserve Bank does not even allow me to have an access card for the VBS. So I was in there. If they bought the helicopter through the money for the VBS, he was the head of Treasury. He knows. He's the one.
Well, what's your response to the report that there was 18 million rand paid to VBS under your watch? What was that amount for?
There was not 18 million paid by VBS. I paid, the story which has always been there is that I paid 3 million from my FNB account to VBS to assist in March 2017, when VBS was battling, and they said that, look, VBS is battling. People with little bit of money and other black professionals try to secure them to come and bank with the bank so that the bank can make it, because there was a run. Remember, the story which was created was that it started by a letter from National Treasury saying the municipalities are not allowed to bank with mutual bank. Now with VBS. Now when you do that, you create what is called a run. Everybody goes and take the money out, and therefore the bank does not have the money. That's where people said, try to assist. I took out my 3 million.
So where was the 18 million rent from?
The 18 million is made out of 3 million from my private account, plus 15 million where I went to a friend to say...
So you have money in your private account and yet you are taking loans from the bank?
I'm not taking loans from the bank.
But you said earlier that you took a loan to buy a house and to buy cars.
A bond,
yeah.
When you do a bond, when you support a bank, if you don't take a loan from the bank, you don't do a bond from the bank, that bank will fall. The bank's primary role, that's why the FNB, the Standard Bank, they encourage, they do deposit. So when you take, even when you got the money, you can pay a car crash. But if you want to support a bank, you can go and take a loan. The issue is, are you paying a monthly installment?
Mr. Madzonga, are you working for a bank, you earning a salary from there, and you take money from your private account to subsidize or assist the bank?
No, Colin, you're wrong again. I'm not working for the bank. I'm working for Vele. Vele and the bank is not a two
different things. But you were CEO
It's the same
bank.
Like a PIC.
But you were CEO at the bank,
PIC.
so that's why I'm asking you about the 18 million rand. Where was it from?
No. I was in 2016. The corruption which is being talking about, they said it happened in 2017 March. Now, in 2016, there was no corruption.
Okay, can I put it to you that with 18 million rand, it was intended to hide the liquidity crisis that was happening at VBS?
No, that's what people are trying to say. You cannot hide a liquidity crisis. You cannot hide and conceal fraud when you're not benefiting. You can only hide if you are part of that scheme. So how do you hide when you don't even know what is happening in the bank and you are trying to assist? Many people are putting money with the bank. If you yourself now today you go and put money and invest money with Standard Bank, you cannot be told that you're hiding the
I would like you to take a look at the next part of the report. Yeah. This is an extract that we want to refer to. Payment of very large sums of money was made to the various perpetrators of the scheme of looting as a reward for their participation, and substantial bribes were paid to certain of VBS's directors and other related parties in order to buy their silence and to look the other way while the looting was going on. That's on page 9. Yes. What do you say about that?
Well, that is Terim Tao's what he's finding for the people. I realized that he also mentioned the name of those directors who he said in the report. Those directors have confessed that they were paid money where they were not supposed to pay to remain silent and to do some loan when the VBS was taking loan, whether it was a PIC loan, that they must look away. So they confess themselves. I cannot really speak for them. I can speak for myself to say when they were directors, I was not a director of VBS. I am a customer to have a bank account of VBS, not a director, not an employee. So I'm a customer like any customer on the street.
Well, what do you say about other people who are implicated or not implicated in the report, especially those who received bribe money so that they can be quiet?
Look, if they confess and if it's the truth, the law must take its course.
Do you know anything about Dr. D?
I've only read about Dr. D, the statement they've issued, which is said that the report have say certain allegations about him without giving him an opportunity to speak. But that's all I know.
Have you spoken to him yourself?
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't really speak to him because, I mean, there is nothing. Dr. D was a shareholder. He represents a shareholder, a company which was a shareholder of VBS. I represent also a company who was a shareholder of VBS. Our relationship was only as a result of being the shareholder of a common subsidiary, which is VBS. But it ends there. But the operation of VBS doesn't.
There's a call right now that those who are implicated in the looting of VBS must be charged. Are you one of them?
Well, I'm not one of them because the report, as I said, the report said to me in point 59, advocate himself, Terry, said he cannot make a definite finding about anything I've done.
At the moment, you are subject of a court order for sequestration.
Yes.
What do you say to that?
No, that sequestration was, again, people who are saying, why did you pay 18 million to the bank? You may have been concealing the fraud. Based on that, they said, because you were concealing the fraud, you are part of the fraud. And that is wild. I mean, even legally, you will never have that thing. That's why we are fighting it. I'm fighting it. Now the report has cleared my name to say I've done nothing. So I'm going to go back to the court to say, there is the report says there is nothing they can say I've done. Now, where is this concealment? Because Advocate Mtao should have said, my finding is that he paid 18 million to conceal the fraud. And therefore, there was an element of fraud. Therefore, he assisted the perpetrators. But he didn't. He said he cannot find any wrongdoing. Now, the people will obviously, for jealousy and other things, they will try to put in to say, yeah, why does he take a bond from VBS?
Who
does
are
he
these
do that?
people? Who's jealous of you?
I mean, you can see with yourself that, I mean, on the yesterday when the report came, there was also a story on the ENCA, and they're reporting to say the kingpin, again, the master pin. They put me as the master pin. And how can you tell a person is a master pin when you read the report and the report said this person has done nothing, and you go in and said he's the master pin, the mastermind of the whole fraud. So obviously, people or the establishment of those people who felt that the success, maybe my success was maybe enrolling in another area, and therefore they feel uncomfortable, and they feel maybe the lifestyle, my lifestyle, maybe they feel because I mean, if you look at the report also, the report, the mandate of Terum Tau was to investigate the fraud at VBS, not to investigate things which is happening for SARS and others. But he now mentioned he went into my SARS issue. Why go and investigate for me to say, are you paying tax?
So during the looting, many people's lifestyles began to change, including yours. You were seen in flashy cars, living in a posh house. So when that was happening, what was going through your mind? What was your conscience when this story broke?
Colin, I think people are mistaken. The mere fact that maybe I'm not flashy outside does not mean people, maybe my lifestyle changed with VBS. My lifestyle changing, the cars you see where they were trying to, in the cities in which they took it out. I bought it in 2000, some in 2001. I used to be the director of MTN. My life, there's nothing which has changed through VBS. I have always have cars. I've always have money. I've always have things which I've achieved.
But remember,
I've been a professional for 30 years.
You are associated with VBS and its downfall. What do you say to those people who were queuing outside the bank, sleeping outside their premises overnight, frustrated, emotional, crying? Some of them were falling sick after they were shocked that they will never get their money any longer. What do you say to them?
That's why, Colin, when I was the CEO of Vele, I cooperated with the curator. We sold certain entities of Vele to get the money to assist also the bank. So I, as a responsible citizen, I was feeling pity for them because those people are the same people I was trying to put my investment to save them so that the bank must not be put into liquidation. But Colin, let me ask you this. Why is the country so perpetrated by saying you were Robert for 3 months or for 6 months the CEO of VBS, and they do not mention the current COO who have taken over, who, when the fraud was happening,
we will speak to him when the time is right. Now that you are here, answer for yourself.
Yes.
What do you have to say to those people who have lost their money? Burial societies, stock fells, and the municipalities right now, the bank will not be resuscitated any longer.
Let me tell you, on the individual people, are you aware that I'm the biggest loser of everybody, even the people you're talking about as an individual? 18 million of mine now is locked there. I cannot get hold of it. If the bank is liquidated tomorrow, I may get 10 cents for every rand. That means out of 18 million, I may get only 700 rand. I am the biggest loser as we speak. And there is nothing which the bank can say, Terry.
So are you implying that the people of Makado are the smallest losers?
No, I'm saying I am among the
If you are the biggest loser, how do you describe their loss?
Of customers.
Yeah.
Remember, I'm talking as a customer. You are talking about the customers of VBS. I am the customer of VBS. I'm the depositor of those individual depositors. I am the highest with 18 million as an individual depositor.
But isn't it about time to stop thinking about yourself now and consider the plight of the people who are the customers of VBS? Right now, as we speak, those are poor people. You have shelter. Those people were saving money to build houses for themselves, to pay for the education of their children.
Yes, but you see, I am not VBS. I am one of the plight of the poor who have put my money. I am not VBS. I don't work for VBS. And I keep on repeating, I don't work for VBS.
What do you have to say to them?
I don't work for VBS.
What do you have to say to them? If they were here now and you had to look at them in the eye, what would you say?
I think if they were here now, they will look the same eye, me and them will look into one person, which is VBS. because we both lost. They will be not looking at me because they understand I don't work for the bank.
Are you saying you're not feeling any sympathy for the Gogos?
No.
And the
I'm not
Tatas
talking, I'm not
there?
feeling sympathy. I'm saying to you, even I'm like you. If those people in Makwarela and Gogo can come to you and say, Colin, look at my eyes. Why you do this to us? What are you going to say? You're going to say, I'm not VBS, aren't you? You're going to say, no. I've done nothing because I'm not part of VBS. So I also the same like you. I've done nothing. I'm
if
not
you
part
could
of
be
VBS.
found to have done wrong, are you prepared to go to jail?
Colin, who will find me because the report has already said they cannot find anything? I'm not talking
Out of
about
the 50 people who have to be
look,
charged, if your name appears there, are you prepared to face the music?
The report is out. I've always been saying, well, let's wait for the report.
But your name appears
and
here.
The report says I'm not guilty.
Your name appears here and you have received money. You are here reported to have received over 30 million rand. So I am saying, are you willing?
What are you saying?
Are you willing to face the music?
No.
And would you?
I'm saying, what are you saying about point 59 where he says he does not find me guilty? And what are you saying about point 60 where he says I took 39? You are talking to point 238 which he says 30. It says I took 30, I took 39, I'm not guilty. Now, if I've always said, if the police or any laws can find me guilty, yes, I'm willing.
Are you absolving yourself from all this mess?
The report has absolved me. I don't need to absolve myself. The report in point 59 have absolved me, have said I have not done nothing. So I don't have to absolve myself. The report is there. So the Hawks, anybody, police can do their own thing. They will come to the same conclusion because I was not part of the bank. I have not been part of there. I didn't do anything wrong. That's why the report says no definitive finding means he is clear.
Robert Madzonga, thank you very much for speaking to us.
Thank you, Colin.
All right, Robert Madzonga is the former CEO of VBS and Chief Operations Officer of Vele Investments. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, the program continues.